Welcome to Better Sex, where you get the information and inspiration to create and enjoy your best possible sex life. Join your host, sex therapist Jessa Zimmerman, as she brings you expert guests, helpful tips, knowledge, and strategies to improve your intimate relationships. And now, your host, Jessa Zimmerman.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Better Sex Podcast. This is Jessa, and I am delighted to welcome you to the show. I have a friend and colleague on the show today, Kimmay Caldwell, who has such a fascinating story about how she has gotten into this work around self-love, self-acceptance, body image, all this stuff that people struggle with that came through her job as a 20-year-old becoming a bra fitter. And it's a fascinating story because for any of you who have bought a bra, who wear a bra, can probably picture yourself in the room trying this stuff on, or maybe you've tried on a bathing suit, that kind of thing. And the kind of feelings that come up, the kind of stories that come up, the meaning that we have around how we look, how we measure, what these numbers are, what these sizes are, all this stuff is often not positive, not self-love, not self-acceptance, sometimes deeply rooted in shame or senses of inadequacy. And she witnessed this as a bra fitter over and over and over again. And it has, besides transforming, her own relationship with her body and working with clients in a bra fitting room, it has really developed into a whole coaching work that she does, a coaching program she does around really coming to love yourself inside, outside, and underneath, as she says. So I hope you get a ton out of the show and join me welcoming Kimmay. And before we start the show today, it is sponsored by Intimacy with Ease. It's a method to help otherwise happy couples achieve a sex life that is easy and fun for both of them, so that you can actually just enjoy your sex life with zero stress. For more information, if you want to watch a brief little training video that's available, all of that, go to intimacywithease.com. Kimmay, thank you so much for being on the show.
I am so excited to be here. Hooray. Thank you for having me, Jessa.
Hooray. We're going to hear that a few times today, aren't we?
Probably a few. People sometimes ask me, do you really say hooray all the time? Hooray, Kimmay? I don't know why people talk like that. They don't. But I tell them, yes, I actually, this is an organic thing. I really do say all the time. And just to be clear, when I'm saying hooray, yes, I'm using it sometimes as a exclamation and I'm excited. But really, I mark hooray as the unique definition that you have for success and fulfillment in your life. Mm-hmm. Not just happiness or joy or blind positivity, right? But true fulfillment, which is not always that joyful, to be completely honest.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I denote hooray.
Okay. Well, we're going to go more into that, but I wanted to start, if you don't mind, just with your story. How in the world did you get into bra fitting, and how did that become such a public celebrity kind of career? And then what have you learned? I mean, that's a lot of questions, right? What has that taught you specifically about body image and self-love and acceptance as it might show up in somebody's relationship?
Cool. So this podcast is 4 hours, right? We have 4 hours. No, I'm kidding. I will try to keep this brief. I've been on many podcasts to talk about this, and I would love to get this down to a science. But I mean, the truth is I fell into bra fitting by accident. So I'd moved to New York City at 18 years old, as one does when she wants to be a musical theater movie star. And I was in school and I was completely independent financially at 18 years old.
Wow. Living in New York City,
making $8 an hour, selling shoes, and enrolled in a private college full time.
Wow.
So I was broke. I mean, and I don't mean this lightly. I don't take poverty lightly. I was definitely supported should I ever need it, but truly I was on my own and truly I was impoverished.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a better opportunity. And my friend said, well, hey, I know someone who's opening up a bra shop in Soho. Would you be interested? And I said, okay, well, does it pay more than $8 an hour? She said, it pays 10. And I thought, I'm going to be rich. Let's go do this.
A 25% raise. Yeah.
I mean, at the time I was like, yes, I'm going to be balling. So I went down to Soho. I got hired on the spot, and I did not have any interest in bras. I mean, I wore a bra, but that was it. I didn't know how bra sizing worked. I had no idea what to expect in the bra fitting room. And that right there was my education. I wish everyone could be a bra fitter for a week, because it will change your life. It will change your perspective. So I learned in the fitting room at the beginning. And now that was 2005, by the way, y'all. So
okay,
that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I just turned 20 years old. I think the week I got hired, I was 19. And then a couple of days later, I turned 20. And so at the time, because I was going to school for musical theater, especially, but also because I'm a female human in the United States, everything was about the way I looked. Everything. And I felt inadequate. I felt like I didn't look like the perfectly airbrushed magazines, because remember, this is pre-Instagram, before there was a whole body positive movement, before there was any kind of public addressing of cellulite and stretch marks and all the stuff that I had. And so even though I had a very healthy, able, privileged body, my relationship with it was extremely unhealthy. And so I took that into this fitting room and saw a couple things. One, it's New York City. So I was seeing every different kind of body you can possibly imagine, every kind of background, every kind of experience, age person, sized person, gender person. You know, I met my first trans human in the fitting rooms of New York City. And and then, you know what, also, I'll be clear, supermodels, you know, like there were like gorgeous humans in there by society standards. And yet every single one of them, when they looked in the mirror, had something negative to say to themselves, typically about their body, but also you could just see the stuff coming up, you know, on their face when they see themselves in the mirror. And it's a really, really intimate space. And I mean that like both as a, you know, a funny way to say this, but like truly it's an intimate space, and people would let me know what was on their mind.
Wow.
And so the stories that would come up in there were so harmful, so negative about themselves. And I thought, well, I don't even see that thing about, oh my gosh, this is what I've been doing. And so it really inspired me to change the way I was talking to myself, change the way I addressed my body, and also to then help other people do the same. Because it's real, I mean this with sincerity, it's actually really easy for me to fit someone for a bra. I can do it with my eyes closed, one hand behind my back. Like it's so easy. And if my biggest goal in life was just to help people feel comfortable in their bras, I could do that in a snap.
Yeah.
But I knew there was a bigger opportunity. And so I started really supporting people to not only be comfortable in a bra, but to be comfortable with who they were seeing in the mirror, be comfortable in their bodies, really like who they are. And like if, you know, breasts and our genitals are like two of the most sacred parts of the body, whether you have full breast, a flat chest, you have a cisgendered male body, whatever, right? Like these are two of the most sacred parts of our body. And if there's any kind of shame or confusion or discomfort in those areas, especially the breasts, right? So in the chest area, it's right over the heart. That just blocks that part of your body and your energetic body off. And so if I can help that person stand shoulders back, chest out, heart out, and understand that part of the body, get to know and love that part of the body, start their day off with like a ritual of, you know, loving what they're putting on their body and how they're adorning and supporting themselves. I knew I could make a change in people's lives. And I'm telling you, Jessa, this sounds like a silly thing. It sounds like the silliest self-love tool you could possibly use. I promise you it's not. And I've changed people's lives, and it just kind of snowballed from there. So the shortest answer I could possibly give you is that then I started doing television, and I did my first TV appearance about undergarments and lingerie back in 2007, live on NBC. So I'm dating myself now, on the Martha Stewart show back before she even like went to jail. Yeah. I think like all that stuff was happening with Martha. She's a amazing human, by the way. I love her. But yeah, that was my first ever appearance when I was working for La Perla, which is a really expensive, sexy line of lingerie. And one of the questions that she asked me was something about wearing, because like the models had heels, like high heels on. And she was like, do you have to wear those? And I was like, sure, throw those in there. And then I was like, but honestly, like wear what makes you feel confident and comfortable, because that is the sexiest thing you can wear. I was 22 and
Wow.
I knew this to be true. So here we are many years later, and I've done television many, many times. My 6th appearance on the Rachel Ray Show is coming up as we're recording this week. And I've done the Today Show up in Canada, the Marilyn Dennis Show many times. And it's just been I teach bra fitting at the biggest lingerie expo in the world in Paris. And I like to teach bra fitting with compassion. That's my whole jam. And yeah, so it kind of snowballed, and I created my own blog and website. And now I do a combination of coaching people and consulting with brands, and then also teaching people how to wear undergarments and love themselves.
So did this all show up in the bra fitting rooms and your TV appearances? Like, are you actually diving into loving the person they're seeing in the mirror, like right there in that shopping experience? Or
That's a really good question. When I was working for a retailer, they were there to get bras, right? They didn't sign up.
They didn't want right.
Yeah. So I would sort of what I call give them the shiny object, but then also deliver some gold. So the shiny object was my bra hurts. I hate this. I hate bra. So many people probably listening hate bra shopping.
Yeah.
It's a horrible experience most of the time, even at some of the best shops in the world, because all the stories come up and it's just so like, ugh. And the stories, what I mean by that is like the stuff we're telling ourselves about who I am, what's that size and the tag means about me, all that stuff. And so I would sort of give them the gold along the way and encourage them and help them see something. But that person did not hire me to coach them. And so it was sort of like, that was just the way I wanted to fit someone and to support them. But later in life, I am a coach. So I do coach people without bras even. So I do coach people. And then also I started doing these in-person bra fit sessions and now virtual bra fit sessions, which are part educational. Because really my goal is to always address the 3 things that are the most hindering part of the whole process for people, which is confusion, discomfort, and shame. So the confusion, we can get to the heart of like, what size do I even freaking wear? How does bra sizing work? What's the difference between the double D and an E? That confusion part we can get to with some education. The discomfort part we can get to by helping you get into a bra that fits you well. If with shoes, if you're a size 7 and you're wearing a size 6 shoe, or you're wearing a high heel and you're trying to run a marathon in it, like that's not going to work for you. So we help the people get comfortable. By we, I mean me. And then, and then the third one is shame. And we always address the stories and the fiction and the shame that's coming up, and the stuff we tell ourselves about what having big boobs or small boobs mean. The stuff we tell ourselves about what it means if they're saggy or they're floppier than they were before, or what it means if we've had to have our breasts removed, or if we've never grew breasts. There's so many stories that come up, and that shame covers up our confidence, covers up our ability to connect with ourselves and others, and also covers up our potential to be, this is your word, but like intimate with ourselves and others, because we've got that shame that's just covering up that part of the body.
Right.
So yeah, yes and no is my answer to your question.
And you talk about, or maybe it's even your tagline, right? Like say hooray, inside, outside, and underneath. And I think you're sort of speaking to some of this, but talk a little bit more about that. What does that mean? What's inside? Outside makes sense. Underneath.
Good. Okay. Good question. So I am all about the holistic approach to supporting someone. And so when I mean support, bra, but let's use that bra to support all of who you are. So I like to work from the inside out. So even though it's my tagline's inside, outside, and underneath, it's actually it's really inside, underneath, and outside, the way that I like to work with people. So inside meaning your relationship with your inner self. So your emotions, the way you talk to yourself, even your connection to your intuition or a higher power, that is all inside work. And that's where the stuff has to start. In one of my courses that I teach, the Hooray House Method, we talk about you as a house. And so we talk about then doing this inner housekeeping within you, within who you are, because that's where you go home at night. Regardless of who you are out in the world, regardless of the work you're doing in the world, regardless of the person and people that you're in relationships with, when you go to bed at night, metaphorically, you are in your own home with you, your own head and heart space. And so making sure that that is a hospitable place and you feel at home in who you are, no matter what is going on outside of you, That is the key. So we start inside. Then we go to underneath, which is your physical body and anything underneath your clothing, because I am a bra expert and an undergarment educator. Obviously, I love to use undergarments in this part of the process. And then outside, meaning anything outside of you, which is where most people like to make the changes first. You know, like your job, your hair, how you present to people, your boyfriend, so like your relationships with somebody else. And as a person who deals in intimate relationships, I think you need to start with your relationship with yourself first and make sure that you're on some solid ground of like how you feel about yourself. That will make connecting with somebody else not only easier, but richer and on the solid ground of who you really are and what you really believe, instead of, as a colleague of ours mentioned this, twisting yourself to be someone else, just to please someone else, or just to, be accepted or loved or whatever by someone else. You can really fully show up as yourself out in the world if you're at home and who you are inside first. So those are the 3 levels of saying hooray.
So it sounds like to me sort of a tall order to go from in that fitting room, looking at myself in the mirror. I've had this experience, right? And the stories and the shame or this discomfort and the self-consciousness and all the stuff, to think that, I guess the bra fitting or choosing the right bra is going to transform all this, but doing all that inner housekeeping is how you get there.
Well, I'm really good at what I do. I'll just be honest. No, but I also think, this process, this cleaning process, which no one is a mess, no one is dirty. That's not what I mean. But I mean this regular housekeeping within us, that is an ongoing process. Mm-hmm. We like to look at thoughts like dust. They happen. We have thousands and tens of thousands of thoughts a day. And so doing the necessary housekeeping on a daily basis can be something small, like dusting in your house, right? I'm the worst example of this because I actually hate to clean my literal house, but I understand the importance of doing this inside of me. And I promise I'll get better at doing this outside of me. I have actually gotten better at it. So so that it's like an ongoing, lifelong process. But just like you would for cleaning your house, those opportunities to do something a little bit deeper, like a deeper clean than usual, or even a big renovation in your life, right? Those present themselves in much different ways for everybody. I look at the processes of a bra fitting as a deep clean. It's like getting into your tub and doing a nice deep clean. We're not going to clean the entire house. We're not going to change your entire life. Yeah. But it's an ongoing process, and it's part of a practice of treating yourself well. One of the reasons, though, I think it's such a life-changing, pivotal moment for a lot of people is because a lot of the people that I serve and help tend to be in their 50s. They tend to be 55 years old. And they typically, because of the demographic that I work with, have had kids, and those kids are now in college, and they're suddenly left with time on their hands and resources. And also they're usually premenopausal. So their body has changed yet again. Like menopause is like a second puberty, like your body just changes again. And so they come into me basically being like, oh my gosh, these things are out of control. Please help me. And that person has spent, 35 to 40 something years wearing a bra that doesn't fit, guessing on how sizing works, making do, putting themselves last. And so this seemingly simple task of, I just want bras that don't hurt my body, turned into, surprisingly to them, not to me, turned into, wow, not only did I learn so much about myself, but I physically feel better. I emotionally feel different. This opened up this whole new opportunity of, if I can feel this way with a bra, like imagine what else I could do for myself to feel amazing. Like it just opens up this whole life. Not only that, but because most people that I serve are wearing bras on a daily basis, they have this daily scheduled reminder of treating themselves well, of empowering themselves underneath their clothes, even though no one else may even see it, right? Like people ask me all the time, like, oh, does your husband love lingerie? He must love what you wear. But I'm like, you know what? My husband hardly ever even sees what I wear underneath my clothes. Not because we don't get intimate, but because I wear it for me and I make sure I see it. If he happens to see it, good for him. Congratulations to him. But that's not why I'm wearing it. And so you have this special personal secret and opportunity every day to love on yourselves. And that like I said, just like the regular inner cleaning, that regular practice of loving yourself and reminding yourself I'm loved and gosh, this feels good to love on myself. that regular work is where the magic is. So that's why I think it changes people's lives.
Yeah. So I was going to ask besides getting an expert bra fitting, and sort of taking this on with you, what's a tip or two that you might give anybody listening? And maybe anatomy, it doesn't matter, gender, anatomy, anything else that somebody could take from this. I mean, part of what I'm hearing is a daily ritual of self-love to start your day as you put on your undergarments. But is there anything else you'd sort of suggest that people could take away from that?
Sure. There's, the practical side of it, which is understanding how bra sizing works, because again, stepping away from using numbers as a definition and instead using it as information is really key. So what I mean by that is when I would measure people, typically I'd bring the measuring tape around them and then I'd constantly get this, like nervous, like hold their breath. Oh my gosh, the number's coming. And I realized what a definer we let numbers be, because if that number or letter comes back as something that they deem as not good, that suddenly they feel upset, they feel worried, they feel whatever. And so typically the stories that come up with those things happen to be, if I'm an A cup, I'm not sexy, I'm boring, I'm not very feminine, I'm not super sexy, whatever. B cup, C cup, I'm average, I'm down the middle of the road, I'm okay, I'm not really sexy, but I'm like okay. D or double D cup, I'm sexy, I might be a little too much, I'm over the top, and people will play into these stories. And then anything above a double D cup, forget about it. You're sloppy, you're oversexed, you're whatever. All these negative stories that will come up. There are some positive stories too that people tell themselves, but generally speaking, we tend to tell ourselves the negative ones over and over and over again for many psychological reasons. But I have to tell you something. The way that we pass down information about bra sizing and what's common and how it works is so bananas wrong, because typically right now you're relying on an older relative or someone in your life, or maybe a bra fitter, to teach you this. And my mom got it wrong. Like my mom didn't know what she was doing, and she was just guessing because her mom told her something. And like, I just had all this misinformation. So please understand what you see in a department store as far as like the common sizes are not actually all the sizes that are available. In department stores, you're going to see B cups through maybe double D, maybe triple D cups. The most common sizes that I've fit, and the thousands of humans that I have fit all over the world, especially in New York City, is 32F and 34G. That is the most common size that I've fit. And cup sizes actually go up in the US to O cup. O, as in
I did not know that. Yeah.
Yes. And so, getting familiar with how sizes run, how they work, how to find your size, how a fitter would fit you, like the basics. You do not have to become an expert bra fitter, but just like when you own a car, you don't have to be an expert mechanic, but you do need to know the basics of maintaining your car to keep it running well and when to take it to a mechanic.
Yeah.
So learning the basics is the most important thing. I have free resources on my site. I also have something special coming in 2021 to help people with this, because I realized how important it is to make this information really streamlined and simple for people, because there's just so much. And again, we don't have an easy system right now teaching people. So I'm hoping to change that. So that's the number one thing I would say. The second thing I would say is to make sure that you are taking good care of your bras. So again, I learned the wrong way to put on my bra from my mom and wash my bras and all the things. And they are delicate things that have a big job to do. So I have some free information on how to care for your bras and undergarments. If you go to hooraykimmay.com/care, that is where you can find that. And if you go to just hooraykimmay.com, you'll find a big button at the top that says start here for bra help. So you'll get all this information there.
Yeah, and all these links will be in the show notes. It's Jessa here, just taking a quick break. Thanks for listening. Are you interested in being a guest on the show? I'm always looking for people with expertise to share that could enrich other people's sex lives. And I'm also interested in hearing from people who have transformed their own intimate relationship and would want to share their story with my listeners. So if you've got something to contribute to the discussion and want to see about being featured on an upcoming episode, please visit our website, bettersexpodcast.com, and check out the Be a Guest details. You'll find everything you need there. But so one thing I'm hearing that we could extrapolate, I think, beyond bras is let's not let numbers define us. Whether that is our pant size or our bra size or our shoe size or anything else, and all of this, our human tendency to feel bad about how we measure in one way or another.
100%, like how you measure up.
Yeah.
We measure our self-worth in so many different ways. And I noticed as a person who was fitting people in the bra fitting room that it tended to be about our bra size in there. But then I also noticed we as humans were doing this with our salary, with our weight, with our age.
Right.
You know, like I'm suddenly not enough or too much, or I'm not sexy or I am sexy, or I'm not successful or am successful based on a number. Numbers are important. It's so important not to ignore them. You know, especially if you have a health issue, you got to know your health numbers. And yet, if you let that number be the decision between I'm enough or I'm not enough, or I'm healthy and I'm not healthy, or I can be happy or I can't be happy, that's where the definition starts coming in. So I actually created an entire campaign called More Than My Numbers. And I'm in it, but also I realized not everybody can relate to me and my numbers. So I pulled in all sorts of people of different shapes and sizes and ages and bodily needs, and basically let all of them also measure themselves and share their size. So you can see, like, what does a 34G actually look like on someone? So it's not a mystery anymore, but also share a story about another number in their life that had at one point defined them and what they were actively working toward to let go, and to forgive themselves for buying into the misbelief that that number defines who they are or gets to decide their happiness. And now reclaiming this decision-making power of like, no, I'm going to use this for information. I'm not going to completely ignore it, but I'm not going to be obsessed with it. And I'm going to redo my relationship with that number. And it's been so powerful. Oh my gosh. I actually started this campaign years ago, and we haven't done a ton of new stories or anything, but I can't step away from it. People love it. And I teach workshops on it all the time. So yeah, you can go to morethanmynumbers.com and get that too.
So somebody can take the opportunity as they put undergarments on to practice, like really tune in and touch base with self-love and acceptance. How else do you think people can use undergarments, lingerie, the stuff, you know, for intimacy, for improved intimacy? Like, how does this apply, do you think, to somebody in a relationship with a sex life?
So, okay. So number one, I think a lot of people think I must be the kinkiest person in the world because I work in lingerie. And I think it's because we really sexualize lingerie and undergarments, and we really sexualize parts of the body that you know are covered by it. And so I just want to be clear, like, you can absolutely be abstinent, and never have sex with anybody. You can be
abstinent too. So
yeah, that's true. But you could never have sex with anybody, even yourself, and wear lingerie and feel gorgeous. Like, that's absolutely possible. And by lingerie, I also mean like everyday bra, like your t-shirt bra and your you know, period underwear. You can wear those and still feel really sexy. I promise. I do it all the time. So it doesn't have to even be sexy lingerie. However, we know that act of loving on yourself and dressing well underneath your clothes, like, it can also be exciting. And that excitement of like, not only do I feel confident in who I am, I love myself, I'm loving on my body, but I'm also feeling a little frisky. Those things can then be brought into an intimate situation with someone. Intimacy at its core, maybe you agree with me, is about vulnerability. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to be vulnerable with someone if you're not feeling sure in yourself, whether it's your physical body or, you know, feeling truly loved and accepted. And so just like people do self-love so that they can show up bigger in the world, you can do self-lingerie so you can show up in a sexy way with your partner. So that can absolutely work. The other thing about lingerie with your partner is that you can sort of tease your partner and let them know, like, hey, I'm wearing this underneath. And you could be like wearing the most boring sweatpants in the world. Right. Sweatpants, sweatshirt, scrunchie in your hair, haven't taken a shower yet, but let them know, like, by the way, did you know I'm wearing this underneath and this is what it looks like, or send them a quick picture. That is going to heat things up really fast. The other cool thing is they get to sort of unwrap you like you're a present, you know, the most valuable, beautiful piece of artwork that they get to unwrap with this adornment that's on you. That's pretty awesome too. So those are a couple of different ways.
I'm imagining, because I'm having this thought myself, so I'm thinking plenty of people are having this thought.
Tell me.
Sure, I'll do this once I've dropped the 20 pounds.
Uh-huh.
This will be easier. I mean, you know, I'll invest in the nice lingerie and the underwear once I get to, at
Sure.
least closer to what I consider ideal
Sure.
body or weight, which I'm sure you have a response to.
I sure do. Thanks. Thank you for that. So one thing is, I totally get it that undergarments and especially kind of the lacier lingerie can be a big investment. And so, if your body is changing and you want to make sure that you're not investing in an entire wardrobe of $1,000 worth of undergarments and then your body changes and you'll be able to wear it again, that's a bummer. So I do have resources on budget-friendly undergarments so that you can get some now, because the biggest question is, well, how do you want to feel right now? Do you feel awesome in your body? Do you feel awesome in the undergarments that you're putting on right now? Does what you're wearing right today underneath your clothes make you want to go be intimate with someone? If the answer is no, we should probably change that today.
And that can change with approaching undergarments differently, right? Like it doesn't start with weight loss. It starts with deciding to accept yourself. I
truly think that treating your body and yourself well now is the key to that continued growth with yourself, so that if your body changes one way or another, you can still be in a loving relationship with it.
Yeah.
I currently am if this is a podcast, you can't see me, but I am cisgendered, heterosexual, in a heterosexual relationship, and I'm very able-bodied, and I'm about a size like 4'6", and I'm white presenting. So I have all sorts of things going on for my very healthy, able body that's very accepted in society right now. That does not mean I didn't have to update the relationship I had with my body, but I also realized that this was a weird thing. One day, I realized I had accepted my body as is in such a deep and profound and beautiful way. And then I had this opportunity where I went, well, what happens when it changes? Because I'm 36 right now, and I have not had children yet, and I plan to. My body's going to change with children, and it's going to change with age. And it might unexpectedly change because of an accident. Like, who knows, right?
Right.
So am I going to love my body in the future too? And I made this commitment to myself that however it changes, without judgment of it being good or bad, I'm going to commit to loving myself and my body. But the same is true for the past too. So you can basically take this love that you have for yourself and extend it to the future you and the past you. So I can love myself and my body at 17 when I was playing volleyball every day and I had buns of steel.
Right.
I weighed the amount that in my mind at 17 I really wanted to weigh, but was actually deeply unhappy. That's a story for another time. And I can love myself today at 36, and I can love myself at 86 with that body, right? So I'm going to encourage people who are like, I have to lose the 20 pounds first, to practice loving your body as it is today. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars. You can get one or two items that fit well, that feel great, that are a color that excites you, that serve a purpose in your life beyond just, well, I have to put on something. Because if you can open up that undergarment drawer in the morning, and instead of having to be like, ugh, if I have to, if you could be like, okay, how do I want to adorn myself today? How do I want to feel today? What color is going to make me feel alive today? That will start changing your relationship with your body before it ever even physically changes. And you don't have to delay your happiness. That's important.
So I've got a couple more questions, but one is a little bit, not quite different, but I want to ask this. Partners sometimes are bought lingerie, right? Like this is a Valentine's Day gift or a Christmas gift or something, or your partner wants to see you in lingerie or whatever. What are the pitfalls of that? Is that an appropriate I can imagine that gets messy in a bunch of different ways.
Oh my gosh. I have so many thoughts on this. It's, every partnership is different. And so for some partners, this is actually a really productive part of their intimacy, is to buy things for each other that are both gifts and also an invitation to be intimate with each other. That can be really, really awesome. I can tell you though, I've seen this go sideways.
Yeah.
Because I also should tell you all, I don't know if this is not clear, because I lived in New York City for 16 years of my life. And even though I live in rural Oklahoma now, I'm definitely a feminist. And so I truly believe in ownership and autonomy of your body and your views and who you are, right? And so I've definitely seen as a bra fitter in a shop in New York City, partners come in and purchase something to basically dress someone up for their own needs and desires.
Yeah. Their own image of what that lingerie represents or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And, that's not a partnership. To me, that is, I'm your doll and you're dressing me up. Now, if you love that and you want to go with that, fine, be dressed up and be a doll. But I think the kind of person that is working with you, Jessa, the partners that are working with you want to be partners and they want to be in it together. And so it can be really fun to go shopping for it together. You get to sort of see like, oh, that's what they're into. I didn't even know. And like, would I be willing to try that? Like, gosh, not because they want me to, but like, what a cool invitation for me to try something I never would have tried before. And in the safety of the partnership with this person, knowing that they're already kind of excited about it. I don't have to enter that bedroom or that wherever thinking, are they even going to like this? It already has the green light. Yeah. So now you get to decide, do I also like this? The other thing is I've seen people shop with a partner and come in. And this is the hardest thing because as a fitter, to me, I believe the most important thing about undergarments is that they fit well and that you feel really great in them, regardless of what it looks like, right? But for some partners, it's all about the aesthetics. And so I've seen a person come into a room. This happened to be a woman and her partner happened to be a man. And so she came into the fitting room with me and I could sense her insecurity and her worry. And she really wanted to impress this guy. She wanted to like fit this desire that he had. And so we tried on a whole bunch of things and she started feeling a little bit more empowered. And finally she was like, wow, I feel so great in this. And I thought, awesome, we finally got there. Like, thank goodness she's feeling good about herself. And then she's like, well, I need to go show him. And I knew immediately, I was like, oh boy. And so she went, he has no idea what
this whole journey that you've taken her on.
Empower her and help her feel awesome. So we go out there and the first thing he says, he takes a look and she's like, here, babe, look what I put on. Isn't it amazing? I feel really great in it. And the first thing he said was, I don't like the color. What? Like, dude, I mean, I wanted to throw him out of the store.
Oh.
So, obviously, I don't know who's listening to this and your desire, if you want to see someone in a certain color because it lights you up, but there's a better way to communicate this with your partner. Yeah. There's a better way to say, what would really get me going? Something in blue. And if you can find something that fits well and you love wearing it too, and it's blue, like that would really excite me and be super fun for me.
Yeah.
People have legitimate requests in intimacy situations, but I definitely think there's some pitfalls.
And the person wearing the garment, their confidence and ease and sense of peace, or I don't know what I'd say, and there seems like more important, right, than how it looks. I mean, I get that there's value in the visuals, but your own,
But isn't that always what's like a really healthy, awesome cornerstone of a great partnership?
True.
Like I feel awesome. I feel confident, not only with you, but in myself first. And then I can bring that to you. Yeah. I can bring that into our intimate situation instead of me feeling like, oh my God, I feel like I'm playing dress up or like, this is ridiculous, or I feel weird or awful or insecure. So absolutely 100%. Make sure if you're ever getting a gift for someone that you know that person will really love it, or that it doesn't come with and I have to see this on you. It comes with does this also delight you? And if so, I'd love to see it on you.
Yeah.
But if not, no forcing.
Another pitfall seems to be just fit. Because, if people themselves don't know what fits, their partner probably really doesn't know what fits. So if you're just coming home with some gift, it's like, what are the odds really that comfortably fits your partner?
Unless they basically got clear instructions from the person who's going to wear it. Yeah, it's really, really, really hard. I mean, bras are like jeans. Have you ever had someone jean shop for you? If you're a person, right? Like that's especially the female body I'm specifically talking about. That's a hard thing to do. And so I typically suggest if you're going to get something for someone, get something like a nightgown that is very loosey-goosey and can kind of fit many different shapes and sizes. And so if you're off by a little bit, it's not a big deal. You can also do a little digging in their drawer to see like what they've been wearing or what size they've been wearing. And then of course, giftable things that don't have to be undergarments. Like you can give something like I don't want to get too crazy here, but you can give something that's like accessory based to have a little bit of fun and go from there. I'm going to say something though that somebody literally just said this to me the other day and I was like, you're so right. But I'm doing a whole Valentine's Day webinar for the lingerie industry and we're talking about what customers want. And I'm not kidding you. Most of the women that I've supported, they would love to be sexy for you and wear the sexy outfit and wear the sexy bra. And I would love for them to be in it. I think it's a really powerful choice to make. I'm telling you though, if you got that lady 3 of her favorite go-to everyday bra in different colors, she would be so excited. She'd be like, "You get me? Oh my gosh. Thank you for getting to the bras are expensive." So get someone like her basic everyday awesome bras that she loves to wear, and she went to get a fitting and she got like 2 and now they're all dead because she's worn them over and over. Get her those, and I promise things will get intimate real fast.
That's a great tip. All right, so I want to give you a little time to talk about the Hooray House method because, well, I mean, I guess on your website, they can get in touch about a virtual bra fitting too, but you go deeper. Yes. So the whole coaching program that you offer, can you just give a little bit of an overview of that?
You got it. So the whole purpose of this was that, again, I was kind of coaching people in the fitting room, but I realized that a bra fitting is just one way to support someone and I wanted a bigger way. So I started coaching and, just like with bra fitting, I realized that there was this basic information that I was going over again and again with people, and I wanted to make that more accessible. That's one of the reasons I love going on television so much, because I can get to the basics. I can get that information out to 2 million people at a time instead of one person one-on-one, which is not really sustainable for them and me. So that's sort of what I did with bra fitting. So with the coaching program, I came up with this metaphor and then this method that I was basically bringing to a lot of my coaching clients again and again and again. And so we use this method called the Hooray House method. I already told you, we basically look at you as a house, and really I would say the best person that this serves is an ambitious woman who is doing big things in the world, like might even be really successful already in the world and has started a business or is volunteering to make big changes in the world, or is a mom who's like homeschooling her kids, but just like really like big, showing up big, like wants to go on television, is the face of their company. Anyway, the reason I say this is because a lot of those seemingly successful women have those same stories come up that I was seeing in the bra fitting room. Mm-hmm. Have those stories at night of feeling like a failure, or they didn't do it right, or not doing enough, or they need to do more in order to be valuable, or gosh, I gave that presentation and are they secretly all hating me? And so I wanted a way to help that person work on the inner housekeeping on a regular basis without adding more to their day, because that person's generally busy. Yeah. She's got stuff to do. And so how can you create a habit out of creating the hooray in your life and loving yourself, so that whether that business venture you put out there is a success or a failure, you are secure, you are loved, you know you're okay. So we have a couple of different options for you to join this. One is I have a free class. In fact, if you want to go to the class, I have a special partnership with Jessa. So the link is in the show notes, or you can go to hooraykimmay.com/intimacy with ease, and you can get our current free class, free training, truly free. Like just sign up and watch it. At the end, full disclosure, there is an invitation to join us, but hopefully by the end of it, you'll know if this is right for you or not, and gotten some really great information. So if it's not right for you, great, don't join us, but at least you got some great information. If it is right for you and you're like, this is me, then come join us, come have a full year of hooray so that you can show up for yourself and show up for the world.
Yeah, I'll put all those links in the show notes so people have access to it.
Hooray!
Yeah, hooray. Thank you so much for coming on, sharing the story and all this information. And I hope it's really inspiring for people, because I know that this is an issue for so many people, right? Body image issues and all those stories of self-doubt. So
yeah. And listen, whether you feel like you have a healthy relationship with your body or not, chances are you're not wearing a bra that you love. So even if you're like, I don't really care about that part, which I hope you do. I hope you love yourself. I hope you have a great relationship with yourself. Please at least wear a bra that fits so that you can feel comfortable and go out into the world feeling awesome. And ask me your questions. I'm the person on the podcast that truly wants to connect with you. This is not a weird like, oh yeah, I'm being authentic. No, come and ask me questions. So come over to @HoorayKimmay. It's HURRAYKIMMAY on Instagram, and ask me all your questions, and I'm happy to send you some information.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to Better Sex. Please visit our website, bettersexpodcast.com, for show notes and additional episodes.
And that's a wrap for today. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. If you are enjoying the podcast, if some of this material resonates with you and you would like to make a difference and make sure that this keeps coming out in the world once a week, ongoing, there are a couple things you could do to show your appreciation. The first would be to go to iTunes and rate and review the show. That really helps us be found by new listeners when you review the show on iTunes. You can find a link at bettersexpodcast.com/iTunes. The other thing I want to invite you to consider is becoming a Patreon. For a small monthly pledge, you get some benefits. So for $2 a month, you get advance access to every single episode. For $5 a month, you get a chapter of my upcoming new book. And for $10 a month, I host quarterly get-to-know-you and question-and-answer chats over the web, and you get invited to that. I would love to have your membership in that, become part of the Better Sex family. You can find a link at bettersexpodcast.com/Patreon, which is Patreon. Again, thanks for listening. I'm glad you're here. Feel free to comment, ask questions, get in touch. I'd love to hear from listeners. Thanks.